Scrappy friends. Today we are working in our Keeping It Simple series, and like we have been all summer long. And yes, we are using the Creative Memories 101 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketchbook. If you have this book, we are going to be on page 27 today. And if you don't have this book, then you would want to jump over to my website, and I put together a blog post with today's sketch and the inspiration straight from the blog, and the instructions from the blog as well. So if you want to follow along, go and grab that. I put the link to my website in the description of this video. I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to my desktop, and we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so I like to explain this as a formula when I do some of these lives, because I think if we see what the designer's idea was, I think it helps us to kind of recreate that over and over again. And this is one of those layouts that I feel that we can use over and over and just get a lot of different looks depending on the paper and our photos and whatever our theme is. This is the inspiration right here, and when I found this in the book, I just loved it. It's so pretty and bright, and I guess summery is probably what led me to it. But I was very surprised to see that they posted this back in 2018. So it's a little bit of an older sketch and harder to find on the blog, but it is there. And I went ahead and put a picture of the sketch from the book with the measurements here as well. But so what they have here is it's a one-page spread. They have a background piece. They used a lot of different yellows. This was called I think it was called Mix and Match collection, and they just used a bunch of different yellows and whites, and it really pops together. So we need one piece for a background, and then what they did here is they put a strip of 1.5 inch strips across this. So each strip is 1.5 inches wide by 5 inches tall, and I believe there's 7 of them across, filling up the whole 12 inch span of paper. I wanted to show that as a continuous block, because I know that sometimes I don't want to use different pieces like to make one big strip. I would rather just use a strip of paper. It does help keep it simple, as well as a little bit easier on the eye. This is something I would probably do if I was going to use up some scrap. So this is a great layout for using up some scrap pieces, getting a page done pretty quickly. But we can do the same thing here with this 5-inch wide strip and 12 inches long. I think that represents the same thing, and I think it helps us to keep this formula in mind. Then what they did is they bring in a block of paper and they lay it right on top. 10.5 inches wide by 7 inches, 7 inches long by 10.5 inches wide, and it housed 3 photos. But the one thing about this sketch is the photos on it were pretty small. So I wanted to cut them out and show you that the photos, this one is a 4.5 by 2.5. And I don't really have a lot of photos that I can cut into that small of a picture. So they have 2 of those like that, and then they have this one, which is a 3.5 by 4.5. That's a pretty good size, but it's these 2 that kind of tricked me up a little bit. And then they brought in some mats, and I know my color choices here probably aren't matching, but that's okay. It was more for to show you that the mat itself helps to pop that right out. And there we go. And so they matted each one. So when I make my layout today, I'm going to make my block a little bit bigger, and I'm going to make my photos a little bit bigger. And I think that's going to help my style of scrapbooking. If you had photos that were that you can crop down to that small of a photo, then this is perfect measurements for you. Okay. And then they brought in some journaling. They moved that up, and they brought in some journaling right there onto the cardstock. And then they brought in 3 embellishment areas, one up here, one down here, and one over here. And that made the visual triangle. So that's the formula. It's pretty easy once you take a look at it, and especially when you use a strip here. But again, those can be replaced with smaller strips. Okay, so let me put this away and I will bring out my papers for the day. So I am going to make a 2-page layout today. I'm going to start, my first page will be pretty identical to what they have here, and then my second is going to mostly pull in just other more papers that I used on this side. So for my background, I'm using this new, I don't know if you've seen these are just awesome. This is the first time I'm using it. It is the This Life Crafted Rainbow, and on this side it's all craft, and then on the other side they have rainbow colors, and these are going to be perfect for my pictures today because I'm going to do some hiking photos, and I think that this kind of looks like maybe dirt. It has the brown with some little specks in it, and it's gorgeous. And it was a hard choice to decide which ones of the rainbows I was going to give up for this. And I'm going to bring in another piece here because this is a blue one I'm also going to bring in later on for some photo mats. But you see how beautiful these are. They're tone-on-tone papers, and I just love tone-on-tone papers, and now I'm thinking I'm going to use them all up and I want to get another pack. So I'm like, oh no, but there's the back side of that. So you'll see the back sides, like I said, are all the craft, and then the other sides are the tone-on-tones. Okay, so mine is a directional piece, and I'm only mentioning that because I'm going to go across like this. I want to make sure the direction is going the way that I want it. Okay, so I'm going to do a 5-inch piece. I'm going to bring in a pattern paper for my block, and my block's going to be a little bit bigger than what they use. I'm going to make mine, I'm going to keep the 10.5-inch size. I liked that, but I'm going to make mine a 9-inch because I want my pictures to be a little bit bigger. And I think there's plenty of room on this layout to do this. And 10.5. And it's going to go like this. So let's see, I'm going to bring this green 5-inch piece, and I believe in the sketch they're a little bit lower, maybe 3/4 of an inch up. And I'm going to try about an inch to see if I like it. Bring in my block, and there we go. I like that. See, I have plenty of room here. Let me go ahead and bring in my photos. It's funny, these are hiking photos, but when I was putting this page together, I realized this was a dog we had just gotten a couple months before, and so this layout kind of turned into a dog photo instead. And so I'm going to have that like that. So they're 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I just trimmed them ever so slightly to get them on here. And I want to bring in some mats. This is what I'm going to bring the blue in. You'll see my bigger square is going to hold these bigger photos with mats on them. I'm kind of leaving this area down here for my journaling like they did. Found this one that I liked because it has the same craft. It even has the little brown specks in it. And I'm going to put it right there for my journaling. Okay, and then for my title from the Life at the Lake collection, it had this one called Happy Trails, and I thought that's perfect. I'm going to put it right up in the corner. So a little different than what they had, but I think it's going to work because I'm going to have my other page to kind of decorate along with as well. And there we go. That's my easy, keeping it simple 1-page spread of this layout. I'm going to now bring in my second board and go ahead and start creating the opposite page. I have 3 horizontal photos and one that I was able to reduce down to a 3x4. So I'm going to put that over here. And this is a very common layout for me, and I highly recommend come up with your whatever feels comfortable for you for your second page. That way you can use a lot of the sketches in the book to create this side, and then the other side comes together a lot easier for you if you have those common layouts or formulas in your mind that you like. And this is one I use all the time when I have a lot of horizontal photos. Here we go, because I want to bring in the green paper from over here as a mat behind those 3 photos, because there's a lot of green in here, including my children's clothing. And I think the green really helps it pop. Now the direction of my paper is going the wrong way, and I think I'm going to be okay with it. That's why I wanted to check really quickly. I don't think you can tell. Once the photos are on, I'm going to trim that down, and I don't think it's going to make a big deal. So let me go ahead and trim this. I'm going to make this a 6-inch piece. Let's see, I'm going to bring this one in only about a 1/2 inch, I think. Yeah, 6 inches was perfect. These photos I also trimmed down to probably 5 3/4, like the other side. Now I want to bring in some of the black that I had over here. I don't need a lot poking out. Probably, I'll do 1 inch just to be safe, just so I have some room for tucking. Okay, and then this is going to come under here. Only about a 1/2 inch or so is going to be showing through. And there we go. That way I'm bringing in the same elements I have over here. Okay, now what I want to do with this photo is a little bit different. So when I was going through and getting ready and going through my Life at the Lake collection, I saw this card and I thought this part here was just adorable. It's like a little stick running through a banner that hangs down. And I wish that it had been like yellow framed all the way around. I probably could have just put my photo here and be done with it, but it's not. And I really love the other side. So so I decided I want to recreate this little design right here without a stick. And so I'm going to bring in some white cardstock and make my own little sign. So this picture is a 3x4, and I'm going to cut this white down. Let's see, a 3x4, so I just want it to be a little bit bigger, maybe, yeah, I'll do 3.5 by, let's see, I want it a little bit longer. Oh, you know what, I think I'll keep it the way it is, which is, well, it's at 4.5 right now, so let's see. So my idea is, I have a little piece of green here. I'm just going to cut a piece, get that straight, and then I only need about, let's see, I think that's going to be about a 1/2 inch. And I want 2 of those. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little piece and fold it over and kind of pinch it together, but make it have that little opening that I can slide something through. And I'm going to do that on both of them. Fold it in half and bend it over so that I have that little hole. So these were about a 1/2 inch, just in case you're wondering. They're 1/2 inch and it's about 1 inch long. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in this strong, this is new, we've had it out before, but it's the Max Strength and adhesive, and I'm going to put a little bit on the edges of both sides. So I want it to really stick well. I'm going to bring it back to my little signpost here and kind of see if I can do this. Make it into a little loop. There we go. So you see that? It's like a little opening right there. Do the same thing with the other side. Whoop. It's a little gummy, but it holds really well. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just eyeballing it, hoping that it's going to be lined up. Nothing too specific. And then for the stick, instead of using a stick, although I did think some rolled up little brown paper would be cute as a little stick, I'm gonna bring in some twine and make it more like a hanging post. And also my little title over here has that same thing. So I thought, yep, I got to do this. And I'm going to thread this through. There we go. And kind of find the center point, tie a little knot. There we go. And I have plenty of room over here to hang that little sign. Let's bring this back in. And then my photo, I'm gonna mat right on here. So it's gonna be like hanging, a little hanging sign to hold my photo. And we are going to do some minor embellishing. Keep this simple. So let's start up here. I brought in some things from the collection, some things from my stash. I don't think there was a ton left in my Life on the Lake that was appropriate, so I really had to dig into my stash. So I am going to, let's see, I got a few of these wood pieces, which I just love using these for cluster bases. I'm going to use this big one. I'm going to have an embellishment cluster right up here, like that. And then this one is going to be used as a cluster base right down here on my journaling area. I'm going to grab my leaves here and put some leaves up here around my sign. These are just different leaves, sprigs from my stash. You all know I have my little leaf box. I just went into my little leaf box and pulled out some leaves that I thought matched well. And so I'm going to put those up there. Down here, I'm going to bring in these cute little hiking boots, kind of like these. I just want that little wood block there to kind of help that pop a little bit. And then some more leaves, probably, let's see, maybe out the bottom. I don't want to go too much into my journaling area. I won't have any room. So tuck those underneath those boots. There we go. Little backpack. And I'm going to put that up here. Probably put that up onto some foam tape. Can't go without using some foam somewhere. Yeah, we'll put this right up here. And then I have some vintage creative memories I want to bring in. This word that says outdoors. And a couple trees. Let's see what we can get on here. I like this one. Let's see. It's on its backing, and I probably will leave it there until I decide how I'm going to get this arranged. Oh, there we go. I like that. And when I want to not adhere yet until I come back and adhere everything down, because I don't want to stick it to the paper. Then these cute little trees. I think that one's a little big. That I can go ahead and stick down. Yeah, I think I just want it kind of coming out the side of the backpack a little bit, like that. And then the backpack, and then the word outdoors. Super cute. I think I'm going to make my knot a little lower on my sign here. I don't quite want it all the way up to my embellishment cluster, so I'm just going to re-knot this. There we go. And we'll trim off the edges. There we go. And what I wanted to show you was how I'm going to make this look like a little hook. Maybe brown. And I'm going to rest this little enamel dot right under the knot, and then I'll bring in a little glue to make it look like it's holding it up right there. There we go. That's my layout. It really was simple. I think I spent the most time at probably making my little sign right there, but the page itself came together pretty fast, just following the sketch over here and then bringing in my additional photos on a strip of the same papers on the right hand side. So there we go. I hope that you enjoyed that. I think that I conquered my my sketch. I feel like this left hand side looks pretty close to the sketch, just different papers and different colors and different themes. So I hope you're inspired to give this sketch on page 27 a try. And if you need it, go check out my blog post and print off a PDF. Okay, well, that's it for today. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.